Good afternoon to those who are listening. It is September 2nd, 2018, 5:18 p.m. And I might have to do some, but I'm going to make this one fast because I don't have much battery for one. Okay, so this is the preparation video number 2. First one is obviously to prepare spiritually. That's the most important thing we need to do. And probably the next important thing to do is stocking up on water. And obviously you probably know what the next one will be about, food. But there's more than just stocking up water. You got to know a little bit more. You don't just stock up a bunch of water and just that's it. There's got to be more prep to it than that. So I got a couple sites here of how to store water for drinking or cooking. So you can store, as much water as you can, and that's probably the best thing to do. Just store as much as you possibly can, but you have to store them in containers that are clean, for one, and that will hold the water. Because a lot of jugs, like those milk jugs, if you use those, they're biodegradable, and they will eventually wear out, and then they'll leak and all that. So they have... let's go through this. Let's just go through this slowly. So, it has a thing, obviously you just want as much water as you can. And I would suggest if something big happens, like this big event that we're talking about, which I think is the pole shift, then you just want to have as much water on available as possible, and to ration it out even. Now, that's my suggestion. They say, oh, you're supposed to drink a half a gallon a day. But if you're conserving water, you're going to want to conserve water, and it will obviously last a lot longer if you drank, say, a quarter of a gallon a day compared to half a gallon or even more. All right, so method A, excuse me, for which one is this? Clean soda bottles or milk jugs with screw on tops. See, they say not to use milk jugs, but that's, if you don't have anything else. If you have the time and money, go buy better plastic containers. And down below, I believe it shows the different grades of containers. But now they suggest to put bleach in it to sanitize for every gallon of water, it's a teaspoon. But I don't know, bleach just worries me, especially since I'm probably highly sensitive to it. But anyway, I would just rinse them out really, really good. Maybe even use some soap and water and rinse it out. And then I guess one of the main things about storing water too is they say that water can be stored for up to 6 months. I also saw that it can also be stored indefinitely as long as you keep it in a safe, cool place where there's not going to be any other contaminants around. And of course, it depends on the grade of the container. So, you can do it from your faucet. I like to buy water from the store. I go take my gallon jugs to the store and get the refills that way. So you want to store them in a dark, dry, cool place. You also want to store them somewhere where they're not going to get damaged. So, they also say don't put them on the concrete floor. You want them up off of the floor, because anything that can spill onto the floor can get contaminated into that water supply. So you don't want to do that. And you also want to store it where it's not going to be falling too. So if it's up high and they're falling down, they could burst or break, depending on what you're putting them in, because there's also glass containers you can put them in, but that seems like just a disaster for me. I would worry that they'd fall and break, and then you lost all your water. You probably have a better chance of the water jugs falling and not breaking unless they're coming from a higher elevation. All right, so I'm not going to worry about contaminated water. I wouldn't, you can do that too. And, you can boil water. Like it says here, boil it for 1 to 3 minutes. And when it's cooled, then it's safe to drink. And then to restore oxygen back into it, just move it back and forth between containers a few times. I don't suggest liquid bleach. So there's that. And then I got another news story over here. And hopefully I can remember to put these in the description box so you can go back to it later. Now, obviously, if you have a lot of money, go for this. Go for the big 55-barrel container. That will store a lot of water. And, you know, obviously look and see how they have it on a pallet. Keep it off of the concrete floors. It avoids contaminations and bacteria and stuff that could, you know, leak on the floor. And, you know, water doesn't really expire, but you have to keep it clean. And, you know, after a certain amount of time, it's going to have a stale taste to it. But, you know, if water's water, it's going to keep you alive. So, and obviously store it in a cool, dark area. You keep it away from fumes and chemicals. And some of this stuff's expensive, man. Oh, here's the grades now. Okay, so you want a UV resistant food grade plastic container or metallized bags. And I was like, metallized bags? What? But anyway, so if you can get the better food grade plastic containers, they will last longer and they'll be more durable. And because I know those thin and they will puncture easy, and they will tip over easier too, and you know, smash more so than the other ones. All right, so and then you can also use Gatorade bottles. You can use Pepsi bottles, pop bottles, but again, you know, you're going to have leftover soda or milk, and you know, in the milk ones, or Gatorade. So you want to rinse it good to get that out of there, or you're going to have a weird tasting water taste. And the main thing is store as much water as you possibly can. Try to get them in the best containers that you possibly can. If you have lots of money, get the big containers, and you can drink that slowly like that. You know, but most people probably don't have money to buy all this stuff, so just get the best containers that you can and store up as much as you possibly can. Cool, dark place, and make sure they're off of the ground, off of the floor, so that no contaminants can get in. And then try to not have them stacked too high either. And try to, if you can, somehow secure them so if there is a big earthquake and everything's falling over, if you have it on shelves and they're falling over, that they won't break if you have glass, for one, or the puncture or burst if you have them in the plastic jugs. So that's the main thing with the water. Obviously, the more water, the better. And, you know, if you can afford to get those smaller plastic bottles, that's good too. But, you know, it's cheaper to buy the gallon waters refillable. And then, you know, oh, and also I would also suggest stocking up. Just buy 1 extra gallon per week, if anything, if you can do that. You know, obviously, if you know something's coming, then you want to buy a whole bunch. But if you're looking for a long-term thing and you just want to do a little bit at a time, just get 1 gallon of water per week and store it up. And make sure that you mark the dates. That's another important thing. Mark the dates on your water, so then you're drinking the oldest water first. So, I mean, it's as long as you keep everything clean, the water will still be good to drink. Maybe not taste as good. So, but keep that in and rotate them out. You know, if you think the water's going bad or contaminated, then throw it out and get some newer water. But as long as you keep it clean, you should be able to keep it indefinitely. And that should do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and be prepared for number 3 about food. Probably be a little bit longer of a video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. God bless.